Hey guys. So I wanted to start with trying to explain the what OP is correctly kind of seeing as a coin, um, the responsibility, what they call it, and the specialized coin. And they were trying to change it. I know they're not happy with responsibility, and I'm all for that. So I also have some bad language in the future. And I swear, I promise it'll become more scientific. But right now I had to pick an OP style way of naming something. So I'll get to that. So first, let's talk about the Pareto principle because this is like the foundation of what this coin is. Um, so Pareto principle is just shows up everywhere, 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 everywhere in all of nature, in physics, in everything. It's just like this 80-20 rule. You've probably heard of it. It's the same thing as a Pareto principle, and it comes from this. And this is just one benign place that it shows up, but it just shows up everywhere. It shows up in even in language use, like the number of words that are being used and what they are, like just everywhere. So basically the 80-20 rule is an extension of that. So here we have one where it's like, okay, why are people late? Traffic, childcare, public transportation, weather, overslept, emergency. Okay, these are excuses. But most people blame traffic, right? Why? They're part of the Pareto principle. So that's part of nature. How same thing. How is wealth distributed? The same way. Wealth is distributed the same way. Here, let me zoom in a bit. All right, so this one here is okay. Yeah, finances. Where are you spending your money? Um, Most of the money is all spent in this area, and then very little is spent here. Yeah. All right. So here, this is okay. We'll get to that one. That's the last one. So here, 80-20 rule asserts that 80% of outcomes or outcomes result from 20% of causes. So that's an interesting place it shows up too. And here, this is kind of the one that's relevant to our coin. 20% of your tasks will dictate 80% of results. Okay. So I just did a little graph here really quick. So here's my stupid name, half-assers. This is what I'm calling them, completionist versus half-assers. And I think sticking to these names are probably better for now, but I'm just going to use this for myself. So don't tell anybody. One, everyone can try to get something to 100%. So first of all, yeah, these are little disclaimers, and everyone has to let go of perfection and learn to give 80% when necessary, right? These are basically the two things. So you'll see the people who are always trying to get that 100%, they're going to have to give up sometimes. It's going to be hard, but they're only going to give 80% in a bunch of areas in order to get above water, right? And they're going to end up underwater. So they have to do that at some point. But sometimes, things fall apart because you're not giving your 100%. You didn't check every last T, you didn't dot every last I. So yeah, if you try to get all of your problems to 100%, you just have such a heavy burden, right? It's like that last completion, that last 20% of completing any task takes 80% of your work. And you can definitely do 80% of that task, 80% with 20% of your work. So it's really easy to get that 80% done. It's that last 20 that's the hard, right? That's the hard part. That's where all of your energy goes to. And it's the same thing in physics too. This is how you want to try to reach the speed of light. Well, all of the energy has to go into trying to get it even that much, a little bit closer to the speed of light, to 100%, to perfection. So everyone's going to have to let go of that at some time. You don't have infinite energy. You can't get anything to perfection, but you can get something to a state that it's good enough. And where you get that state, are you trying to push it above the 80%, or are you just trying to do your 80% and move on? That's kind of the balance there. And so this is why I call them half-assers, because all they do is just give 80% everywhere, and I'm left cleaning up their mess, right? But I mean, that's what I have to talk about in my company. So that's basically what I have to end up doing in my company. And right now I'm underneath a half-asser. It's really interesting. I was underneath the half-assers, but they at least appreciated my completionist attitude, and they used it, right? Um, Definitely. So today I went into my boss. I have a new boss. I've had so many bosses. It just keeps coming and coming. But everyone I have, it's a huge company, and I have touched everything in that company. Every little thing in that company I've helped. Whenever anything fails in the company, and if it fails enough, they put it on my plate, and I have to make it succeed, and it always succeeds. It always has, and it always will. I just know that. But I'm a 100%er. Like that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing for the company, because nobody else seems to want 100% anything, right? So, and the people who do get shit on. So yeah, that's kind of the experience that I'm having there. And I'm balanced on this. Like if I'm having a tidal wave here, I'm balanced on this, right? Anyways, I walked into my boss's office and I said to her three things. So I have to admit as well, I have to admit as well that like what I was doing was just pure flexing. I finally had to flex. Like I had to. And other people might have flexed way before me, right? I know that. But I'm a little late to the game, so stupid me, right? But anyways, so I walked into her office and I flexed, and I said, and just three flexes, one after another, and like machine gun fire. And I don't know. It took like it was building up for a while. So okay, so let me talk about my job a little bit. So my job overall is I have no idea. And people constantly ask me what my job is, and I just don't even know how to tell them. It's just there's no definition for my job. It's just ridiculous. So I was from my perspective, my narrative, I'm going to tell my own narrative here, right? But I know it doesn't look that way on an extroverted scale. But my narrative is I'm there for spectroscopy, and it's nuclear spectroscopy, so it's gamma rays. And I was we were going to do a bunch of other things. We're going to go do dose meters and beta counters and other additional like nuclear type testing. But that's kind of got shut down. So I kind of had that little niche. Basically, all I did was completely made it so efficient because I didn't have a choice. My boss was overworking me. He wanted me to do a whole bunch of other stuff because he had other work, and he wanted me to help him with his work, right? So so I was stuck with this thing in the corner that, was a mess and I wasn't allowed to touch, and I got to help him with his work. So I made his work so efficient that he gave me permission to go back and make my work more efficient. That's what ended up happening. Um, and what I did for him was they measure the waviness of the roads. I don't know what it's called in English, but in Hebrew it's called galiyut, like it's the waviness. It's measured in IRI. It's a roughness index. But anyways, when you measure the roads, you need to know, where, where did you measure? Like, how do you give that information? Because the state of the road is useless if they don't know where to fix it. You have to use GPS. And one of the programs we needed to do is because here they have a standard where they use flat coordinate system, right? And the world is not flat. I'm sorry for those of you who I'm breaking this to for the first time, but it's round. And GPS gives us round coordinates. And the round coordinates are Israel refuses to work with them. They want to make a flat system. So I'm like, okay, well, that's dumb, but let's do a flat system. Not like it's my choice. It's the requirements of the state. So you have to convert that. And there's a program that you have to pay a certain amount of money every year to use that'll convert that for you. And I'm like, why? Why would you pay the company? And then like you have to transfer it to another thing, and then you got to bring it back and you got to do no. So let's just convert it. So found some formulas, found some calibration points, and I used that, and we got it all into an Excel spreadsheet. No problem. Like not a big deal. And obviously, the Earth moves every year, right? Everything's always moving. So when you have your flat coordinate system, the flat coordinate system is moving because the Earth moves. Like I don't know, like something like your fingernail growing, or I don't remember something in geology from back in when I learned that in grade school. So, but yeah, so the Earth moves, the crust moves, the mantle moves, and so that changes, and so you need to actually go back and update it every so often, which is also annoying. But for roads, it's important because you want to know where the road is on this coordinate system. And so we had to do that. So that was done. And it was taking the secretaries an entire day to make a report, a full day. Like it was a lot of work. And I was like, dude, just program it. And my boss was like, oh, I don't know how to do that. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And like, so I had to offer him every single little improvement, and I had to prove my case for it that it's going to save time. It's going to make it more efficient. And so in the end, the report today is 5 minutes. Like it used to take a whole day. Now it's just 5 minutes. You hit a button, you get all of the information from the device. The person who tests gives you a schematic. You enter his information from that schematic, and then you produce a report. You're done. It's not even that hard, right? And the system does everything behind what's going on. And so then he was like, okay, you could do that to yours. So my job is gone because I turned it into a 5 minute job, but they got rid of him. They fired him. He was okay. I didn't have like everyone at my company had a big problem with him. He had a huge tidal wave, but I was okay with him. I like, no problem. And I was supporting him and I was helping him. I know he was taking credit for all my work. I know he's a number one, but that's okay. I don't care. Like I had a decent boss and I was happy. Um, then I had new bosses, but everyone I helped ended up better off. They ended up seeing that, yeah, there's value. So I needed something to complete this project. And the thing that I needed was the project plan. Like, what are you doing? What are we actually working on? And So the project plan, they're like, no, you don't need that. You just do what we tell you. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. You want me to accredit your lab? I've accredited so many other labs here. I've helped out so many other people. Trust me, I'm asking you for something. So I had to go to war to get it. And I finally got it. And I pissed off a lot of people, but I got what I needed to get the job done. And I went to my boss and I said, look, I worked my first boss. If I would have asked him for that, he would have fought. He would have gone to the end of the earth to fight for me and get me that. And he wouldn't have even asked me why. He would have just known, yeah, you need it. Take it. Right. No problem. The, the, the the head of the company, the person who actually owns the company, he's got like 80% of the board of directors or whatever. So his son, good friend of mine, was my boss. Yeah, just like one of the greatest people in the world. He was my boss, and you know, he would have gone to the ends of the earth to get me that, no problem. And the newest guy that was replacing, so I built an entire department, and the person who is now in charge of that department is Gal, great guy. I had no problem working for him. He's a real manager, right? He cares about his employees. He helps his employees, and he's trying to be a connection between the admin team, whatever, whoever they are, and the workers down below, right? He's trying to be that connection. And so like I got no problem working with him. And he would have gone to bat for me. He would have gone and gotten me that information. And I have to deal with somebody that she put between us in order to get that information. And he doesn't want to give it to me. So it's like, do you want me to do the job or not? So I said, look, I have no problem being your employee, but I will not, I need you to be my boss, right? This is a mutual relationship. It's not just one way. And I need you to take responsibility and go to bat for me to get me what I need to get the job done. Because if you can't do that for me, I can't have you as my boss. That's just not a relationship I'm willing to have. And there's plenty of other departments that want me, but she got me. So do you want to keep me or do you want me to go? That's your choice. And I also had a fight. So she's got like a work husband, and I had a fight with him. So he's the one that she stuck in front of me. So like I don't know, they go way back, right? So I told her straight to her face, I'm like, look, this guy wasted 2 of my days. So here, like, this is pure flex. So this guy wasted 2 of my days. So I went to her and I said, look, he got me to do something because he didn't understand what the fuck we had to do in this place. He has no clue. And he got me to do something that doesn't need to get done because I got the feedback afterwards. You did great work, but we didn't need that. Well, it's like, you didn't need that. You made a huge crisis, a big crisis, because that's what I needed to do. And I was wasting my time. And we're 2 days behind now. So so I told her straight to her face, I'm like, do not put someone with more ego than brains above me or between me and you. And she hated that because they're work husband and wife, right? She really hated that. I also asked for Sunday morning off so I can get my kids signed up for passports because I have joint custody, so I have to actually go there. And we had an appointment. It's so hard to get an appointment, and we had an appointment this morning, but I couldn't make it because it was like last minute. They told me I had to be there too. Like I signed a waiver. I would have gone in any other time to sign the documents, but we have to both be there at the same time. So I told her, look, I know I wasn't going to spring that on you this morning, but on Sunday I'm going to need that. So she gave me that, no problem. And I said, okay, now my old department, they're in a bit of trouble. The inspections are coming soon. I know you're going through them too. That's why I'm here. But they're also going through it and they're in trouble and I need to go help them. So every afternoon I'm going to go there. I need you to agree to it. And so she agreed. And I was like, great. All right, have a good day. So that was my flex. But really what was going on at the end of the day was this Pareto principle thing. It was, I'm a completionist. And the guy she stuck above me was this 80%er, and I was left cleaning up all of his shit. and and this guy was not only like the one that I have to clean his shit, but he's also coming in and screwing me up. And he's got plenty of other things to do because he's an 80%er. Like, definitely go off and do all of your other things. Leave this to me, but give me the information that I need and don't get me to waste my day. And don't come to me as if you have that your honor is more important than getting the work done, right? Like, that's just no. So anyways, that's what I basically told my boss. But the big source of the conflict is the 1 and the 4 kind of got mixed up in the whole thing because he didn't appreciate my completionist attitude. He didn't appreciate how many places I've got to the finish line, right? Every single department I've been in, I brought to the finish line. I have like damn, so many departments, like ceramics department. Um, I helped hugely in the geotechnical department. I helped in the roads and asphalt department, um, like NDT, non-destructing testing, just like everywhere. And so it's like, look, I got a lot of people to 100%. Don't get in my way. Like I don't need someone to sit over me and waste my time. Basically. Yeah. So, anyways, half-assers, I'm sorry, I love you, but you need to get out of our way when or you need to do the work yourself. Like that's the thing. He's not willing to sit down and actually do the work himself. I'm there to do it for him and to help him. Because at the end of the day, I'm gone. Like I'm not gonna stick around. I'm here to help you get you to the finish line, and your ego is getting in the way. So yeah. Anyways, I hope he would just like, I'm going to tell them as well that, I'll go to the guy and be like, hey, you got to ask everybody that I've helped in the past if you want to keep me around. They will tell you you want to keep me around. Like you just don't want to miss out on this opportunity. I will get you to the finish line. It's not a problem. Just, don't let also an EJ, right? Of course, like all of the problems line up like one after another. So this guy that comes in the middle is just a perfect storm. But anyways, that's basically my vlog. Maybe I'll make a video on this. Maybe I completely overshared and I'm sorry, but I was proud of myself that I was finally flexing my value. All right. Anyways, I wanted to share that and have a good one, guys.